board was, prior to coming out of executive session, the board had some discussions about personnel issues. I want to take this opportunity to thank the community for all their input that was given to the board at last week's meeting. It was very, very helpful in getting the board to come to a consensus on what the budget should look like. And I want to thank the Superintendent Monahan for all his hard work and dedication to this district, and he's a valuable asset to us. Do you have anything to add?
I too would like to thank the community for last week's meeting and the time that everyone came here to spend to speak to all of us, let us know their thoughts, their concerns, where they believe the budget should be, what should be included, what shouldn't be included in the budget. We took all of that information, we listened to what everybody said. We had many board contacts over this past 4 to 5 days. We've had numerous phone calls to the district, and I appreciate everyone taking their time to have those conversations with us and tell us where they believe the community could support the budget moving forward if we were to propose a new budget for June 18th. And that is what we have done. So what I want to share with everybody is where we stand in our 2019-2020 proposed budget. First, we are proposing our budget to be at $95,314,988. That is a spending reduction of $4,676,257 from our current budget in 2018-19. It represents a 4.67% reduction from budget to budget, with a tax levy increase of 2.46. From what we've heard from our community said we needed to be in the mid-twos or a little bit lower than that. And I've spoken to numerous people, as has many of our board members around the community. So that is what we are proposing. So what does that mean? It means a reduction in salaries of $1.5 million, a reduction of nearly $300,000 in benefits, an additional $43,540 in contractual expenses, an additional BOCES services and technologies reduction of $256,948. The recommended reductions is another $2,151,478, which represents a budget of $95,314,988. What does that mean in staff reductions? It means we have already lost, through attrition, 12 positions in the MBTA. We are looking at an additional 9 reductions. Our CSEA attrition has been 13.5 positions, full-time equivalency. We are looking at another 19 full-time equivalency reductions. We've already had 1 administrative reduction through attrition. We're eliminating another administrative position. The items that were restored from the use of some additional fund balance. Our Orange County sheriffs will be on the main campus, and we will have 1 Mount Hope police coverage at Otisville. Our K-5 enrichment has been restored. What I think everybody needs to be aware of is what does it mean if the proposed budget does not garner the 60% plus 1 approval at the 2.46% levy. It means the district will have to reduce and adopt a contingent budget at a 0% levy, requiring an additional reductions in excess of $1.1 million. The reductions may include, but are not limited to, elimination of additional faculty and staff, the Orange County Sheriffs and Mount Hope Police, non-mandated programs and services. That means extracurricular clubs, music programs, for example, the 5th grade band, art, athletics, JROTC, as we've shared with you. That means minimum modified in JV. Other non-mandated programs and services, AP and college coursework, high school electives, K-5 enrichment, department and grade level chair positions, musical and drama productions. In addition, I need to make it clear to our community, we have worked very hard over these last few years to have our gymnasiums opened up to our students, our fields opened up to our students, to our youth sports, so that they have additional time. As I said at the previous meeting, from November through April. It's hard to find any time in this gymnasium, any of our gymnasiums, because our students are in there, whether it's youth lacrosse, youth football, youth baseball or Little League, youth soccer, some of our travel soccer teams, some of our travel basketball teams are all in the gyms. We are required to charge a fee for each hour that facility is used for any of our outside organizations. That fee is $45 an hour. I want to make sure our community is absolutely clear on that. I will be speaking to each of our organizations that use our facilities so they are aware of it. I want to make sure everyone is aware of what is going to happen if we're a contingency. I don't want anybody to be in the dark. I want them to know what is going on. The outside use facility, our baseball fields, our football field, if that's being used, is $20 per hour for the use of that field. I need to make that clear to everybody. That is what is going to happen under a contingency budget. The contingency budget is a 0% levy. As we said, an additional $1.1 million worth of cuts. That is some really difficult things for our students to handle, to lose that type of program. That is difficult things for our staff to lose. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I stake this faculty and staff against anyone in New York State. They're some of the best and brightest people we have here, anywhere across New York State, anywhere across the country. And each person we lose hurts our community and hurts our kids. These are difficult things we're facing, but we have to face them. The budget we've proposed to this Board of Education helps to preserve some of those programs. If we move to a contingency budget, I guess the best word is devastation to our community. The budget levy that we have proposed is lower than the levy we proposed last year. And that levy garnered nearly 80% support from this community. Again, we heard our community from the first vote. The levy was too high and reductions needed to be made. We've listened and we've put that in place. Not that we wanted to, but we had to. It is our hope that our community can support the levy that is out now, that we're going to be recommending to this board. What does it mean for our tax impact to our residents? For a home with $300,000 fair market value, a 2.46% levy increase represents approximately $165 for the year. And that is the budget we are going to recommend to this Board of Education. I invite any comments that anybody has.
Thank you for your work here. I know that it's been a difficult process, but thank you for, we've listened to the community. We've gotten the levy to where I think is fair. We're bringing back I know a lot of people in this community wanted the sheriffs back. I certainly agree with that, and I know a few others on this board did. And we've gotten that back. Sports programs, educational programs, a lot of things have been saved. I thought, honestly, that this would be a lot worse. Not that it's not bad as it is. Yeah, you know, one layoff is too much because we will feel the impact losing the additional 9 teachers, losing the aides. Our teachers will feel that in the classroom as well. We're going to feel it, but that's what we've heard the community, and I believe we've answered that tonight. And I think you got us to a fair place. So thank you for the cabinet, for the work you're doing. I know it's not easy.
It's not where we want to be.
No, it's not where you certainly don't want to be. And we stated that from the get-go at the 7.9. You know, again, we hoped that that would pass to save everything, but that's didn't happen. So now we have to come to the reality of all this, which is the 2.46. I think it's right now it's the best we're going to come up with. So,
And I appreciate the fact that through the work that you've done over the last several days, that you were able to save 4 teaching positions by moving things around. You know, that's 4 people's lives. And I appreciate that.
I wanted to take this opportunity to thank the board and the administration, because it took a lot to get here, and it wasn't easy. And you know, we have 9 board members with 9 different opinions, 9 different ways of thinking about things. But we all sat down and we talked about it in a public session last week, and I think we've come to a pretty strong consensus on where we all stand. And I want to thank everybody.
Brian?
Yes.
The one thing in the presentation, wouldn't we be losing additional staff if we go to contingency?
Yes, that's what was in there,
It
additional.
was?
That was the first line.
That was the first line,
Oh, the
additional
first line,
faculty and
okay.
staff.
Yeah, okay.
That's the first thing that would happen. That happens immediately.
Just also, first want to thank the community. I think last week gave us a lot of good input, which I feel as a community we need more of, so we avoid these situations together. We are 91%, 90% homeowners. It's all going to be on our back, this budget, the next one, and the one after that. And the only way things are going to change is if we come together amongst this board, other boards that can truly change the town, to bring ratables in that work for everybody, to lower our property taxes. That's what needs to be done. We need help. It's a together effort, it's a town effort, and we can do great things. I thank Brian, the superintendent, and his administration. This is a tough pill for all of us to swallow. We all have kids, children, grandchildren here. We want to see them succeed. And even when our kids are gone, we should still want to see the next generation succeed, because our property values will increase from that, of building the strength in this community. Again, I can't stress enough the importance of having a conversation of why everything is on the back of the homeowner with pilots. When we look around, solar farms, CPV, pipelines, compressor stations, meter stations. So where do we go? We go to the homeowner. We certainly can't go to the few commercial pizzerias. It's not feasible. We need to get Captain Creek leased out. There's land that can be developed smarter and have a better comprehensive plan that will affect this board and the community going forward to be more positive. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. And hope we pass this one.
Again, I think if people saw the editorial that was in the Times Herald Record this past week, discussing how the Senate actually had conversations regarding school funding. And the conclusion was that help isn't coming from the state. That they've looked at multiple ways of trying to fund schools differently. And it's a tough pill for all of us to swallow, to hear that the state doesn't have an answer for us. They've looked at sales tax, and they don't think it's going to fund it correctly. I don't know that our legislators have the political will to actually raise the state tax and eliminate the school tax in that fashion. So for the time being, based on what was out of the state Senate, we're not really looking at any relief from the state with regard to how schools are funded across New York State. Their conclusion was looking at it and leaving it under the property tax. So it's also going to take a collective effort of all of us to help our state legislators understand they have to find a better way to fund education. I know several of our legislators here in Orange County that represent Minnesota Valley are trying to work on that, and I appreciate their efforts on that. But I thought it was worth mentioning that I'm not seeing a lot of relief coming from the state as well with regard to how schools are funded. So we have to work together here to preserve what we can preserve for our community, and most importantly, what we can preserve for our students. The kids deserve to have a great education here. As I said, the levy that we have proposed is lower than the levy that was proposed and adopted last year. So for our community, we've heard you and we've responded. And as I said before, not what we want to do, but what we have to do. With that being said, is there any other comments from our board?
Brian, just one. There's 14,000 and change registered voters for the budget. 14,000 plus.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, adopts the revised proposed 2019-2020 budget in the amount of $95,314,988 to be presented to the public for revote on June 18, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. I'll do the next one. All right, there's,
I do want to thank everyone for coming out here tonight and seeing what we've had to propose here and what's now been adopted by the board. I know it's not easy to hear these things and see these things. We are going to work together to help every one of the people that are affected by this. And that is a promise from me. I will do everything in my power for anybody who is affected by this on our faculty and staff to help you through this. I'm sorry this has happened, but we will do everything in our power to help every one of you. Thank you.
there's one more action for the board to take tonight, and that's relating to the revote. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approves the names listed for chief inspectors, inspectors, and assistant clerks for the election District 1 and election District 2 for the June 18, 2019 budget revote. The district clerk is authorized to contact eligible persons as needed to assist with the vote. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The motion is carried. Is there any other business before the board? I'm going to ask the board for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. I want to thank the public for coming out to this hearing tonight. Good night and get home safe.